What if I told you World War II had a hidden numerical atrocity that still affects us today? How could a world so advanced commit such atrocity, millions of lives reduced to cold, hard numbers? Feel the true weight of their sacrifice, a statistical nightmare that still haunts us today? The numbers don't lie, but they do hide a truth more horrifying than any battle. Did you know, for instance, that 70% of Warsaw was obliterated? Or that the Soviet Union lost 1,710 cities and towns? This isn't just history. You are about to witness the chilling exact ledger of every soldier, every civilian, every tank, plane, truck, ship, submarine, and the astonishing number of buildings lost by each major country involved. Prepare yourself, because the precise cost of World War II is far more devastating than you can imagine. The human cost, the greatest untold atrocity, is a chilling statistical nightmare, country by country. The Soviet Union alone suffered an incomprehensible estimated 10 million military deaths and a staggering 14 million civilian deaths, totaling around 24 million fatalities, nearly 13% of their population. For Germany, the numbers are equally grim. Approximately 5.5 million military deaths and 3 million civilian deaths. A collective total of 8.5 million lives lost, of which 300,000 victims of Nazi persecution. Then we look at China, whose war began years earlier, facing an estimated 4 million military deaths and 16 million civilian deaths, making the total 20 million. Japan experienced around 2.2 million military deaths and 800,000 civilian deaths, totaling up to 3 million. In Poland, a country ravaged, some 240,000 military personnel died, but a horrifying 5.6 million civilians were killed, including 3 million Jewish citizens, half of the 6 million's murderer, illustrating the sheer brutality of this untold atrocity. The United Kingdom lost about 383,600 military and 67,100 civilian lives. The United States suffered around 416,800 military deaths and a comparatively smaller 1,700 civilian deaths due to direct combat. Even France saw 270,600 military deaths and 390,000 civilian deaths, while Italy lost 301,400 military and 153,200 civilian lives. It is estimated that between 70 and 85 million people died in World War II, which represents about 3% of the world's population at the time. This conflict is considered the deadliest in human history, which also consumed the very machines built to wage war, another layer of this vast untold atrocity. For tanks, the Soviet Union lost an estimated 83,500 tanks and self-propelled guns. Germany lost around 25,600 tanks. The United States, despite lower ground combat losses in Europe, lost approximately 10,000. The United Kingdom lost an estimated 15,800 tanks. In the air, the losses were equally devastating. The Soviet Union lost a staggering 15,000 aircraft. The United States lost nearly 95,000 aircraft, though many were non-combat operational losses. Germany's Luftwaffe lost over 65,000 planes. The United Kingdom, RAF, lost around 22,000 aircraft in Europe alone. And beneath the waves, another chapter of this statistical nightmare unfolded. A silent, untold atrocity that consumed navies. The German U-boat fleet lost an astounding 765 submarines out of around 1150 built, a truly catastrophic loss rate. In contrast, the United States lost 3 battleships, 15 aircraft carriers, and 10 cruisers, and 54 submarines. The United Kingdom lost approximately 5 battleships, 10 aircraft carriers, and 31 cruisers. Japan suffered immense naval losses, including 8 battleships, 19 aircraft carriers, and 37 cruisers, and 130 submarines. The Soviet Union lost 98 submarines and 1 battleship, while Italy lost 89 submarines and 2 battleships. These colossal numbers of ships and submarines, now rusting at the bottom of the world's oceans, serve as a cold reminder that every piece of machinery lost had a human cost attached to it. But the untold atrocity extended to the very fabric of civilization. our homes, our cities. The physical destruction was another statistical nightmare. For the Soviet Union, the devastation was unparalleled. An estimated 1710 cities and towns and over 7,000 villages were completely destroyed or heavily damaged, leaving 25 million people homeless. In Germany, the strategic bombing campaigns led to immense urban destruction. Over 7.5 million homes and housing units were destroyed or severely damaged, rendering millions homeless. A staggering 20–25% of all German housing stock lost. Think about their major cities. Hamburg saw 45% of its homes destroyed, Cologne 61%, and Dresden 75% in the infamous firebombing. For the United Kingdom, while not invaded, the Blitz and V-bomb attacks devastated cities. Over 2 million homes were damaged, with over 2,000 completely destroyed, particularly in London, Coventry, and Plymouth. In Poland, cities like Warsaw were almost entirely erased, with an estimated 70% of its buildings obliterated by 1945. Japan's cities, especially with the firebombing of Tokyo, saw massive destruction. For instance, the firebombing of Tokyo in March 1945 destroyed 286,000 buildings, leaving over 1 million homeless. In Hiroshima, approximately 70% of buildings were destroyed, while in Nagasaki, about 40% of structures were destroyed or seriously damaged. Overall, more than 6,000 buildings were destroyed or severely damaged in Hiroshima, and over 19,000 in Nagasaki. Beyond the lives lost and the physical obliteration, the monetary cost of World War II is a statistical nightmare of truly astronomical proportions, an untold atrocity of economic devastation. Estimates vary, but the global direct cost of the war itself is often cited as over $1.5 trillion in 1945 dollars, which, when adjusted for inflation to today, could easily exceed $10 trillion globally. For the United States alone, the direct war expenditures surpassed $340 billion in 1945, translating to over $5.7 trillion in 2024, representing a peak of 35.8% of their GDP during the war. Germany's war expenditures are estimated at over $270 billion in 1945, while the Soviet Union spent around $192 billion. But the cost didn't end with the fighting. Every single one of those millions of lives, every twisted piece of metal, every lost vessel, every obliterated building, and every single dollar poured into its inferno represents a shattered reality, a future unwritten. Only by truly facing these raw, shocking numbers, by understanding the sheer, overwhelming scale of this devastation, can we truly learn from the past and commit ourselves to ensuring such a widespread, haunting catastrophe never again casts its shadow upon our world. Although it seems that not everyone learned the same lesson. If this deep dive into the precise numbers opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe for more untold historical curiosities, and share your thoughts in the comments. What other historical truths should we uncover? Let's keep learning together.